Well, it's not just about tailgating and touchdowns. Football fans are planning to blitz their budgets, with the average person expected to spend about $750 this season. And joining us live is Consumer Education and Advocacy Manager at Experian, Christina Roman. Christina, thank you for joining us. We have a lot to talk about this morning. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
So we are a quarter of the way into the football season. At this point, how can fans start to manage their money a little better?
Yes, it's really important to start looking at that budget. And as you mentioned, consumers are planning to spend about $750, but some are even planning to spend more. So it's really important as we head into the holiday season to start looking at your spending, to make a budget. Maybe look at how much you spent last year and try to figure out where can you cut costs, where are you going to have to add costs this year if your travel arrangements may have changed or holiday arrangements may have changed, and to really start to make a plan for that so that you don't over leverage yourself, so that you don't take on a ton of debt and put yourself in a position where you're feeling stressed out this holiday season. And that can start also with monitoring your credit so that you can see how your spending directly impacts your credit.
Make sure you check your credit as much as possible. Now, Christina, you mentioned a couple things that I do want to touch on. First is travel, because here in Detroit, and there are some other teams across the country, look, the Lions have been doing well. People want to travel and see the team. So those costs do add up. When we're talking about a potential Super Bowl run, how much are people paying to see their favorite team try to go to the championship?
Well, so I think this survey that we did was a little bit more tongue-in-cheek, but we found that consumers would be willing to spend $5,000 if it meant that, like 1 in 5 would be willing to spend $5,000 if it meant that their favorite team would win the Super Bowl. So they would take on that debt to see their favorite team win the Super Bowl. And it's just always funny to see that, but also to remind people about how debt can impact your credit, because debt can have a significant impact on your credit. So if you're planning on taking on debt, you want to make a budget for it, especially if your team makes it to the Super Bowl and you want to go see them. You need to start planning now for how you're going to pay for those tickets, how you're going to pay for that travel, how you're going to pay for parking, food, etc. You want to make that list now.
What are some of the best ways to try to, or just be aware of the money you have, especially as we're going into Halloween at the end of this month, Thanksgiving next month, and then you have, Hanukkah, Christmas after that?
Yes. So Experian actually just launched the Experian Smart Money digital checking account and debit card. And what makes this really unique is that it seamlessly embeds our Experian Boost feature, which allows you to add your on-time telecom, utility, rent payments, and more to your Experian credit report, and to potentially boost your FICO score. So this is a great way for consumers to begin to manage their finances and their credit overall. And also, what's great about this tool is that it's all in one platform. So when you open your Experian Smart Money digital checking account and debit card, you can also see your FICO score as well as your Experian credit report right there on one platform.
You talk about building credit here. It's not just about going to the games and spending all that money, but some people, they do fantasy football, they do betting. How do you build your credit as well as manage those electronic accounts when it comes to in-game betting and fantasy football in the leagues that you have?
Yeah, so one of the best ways to manage or to build your credit right now, open a credit card, make small charges and pay them off every single month, and then make sure that you're making your payments on time. You can also use that Experian Boost feature to add those on-time utility payments, telecom streaming services that I mentioned earlier. And remember that Experian Smart Money digital checking account and debit card is seamlessly embedded within that. So, or it gives you the option to embed that. So it is really a great resource for consumers to manage their overall financial health. And you can check that out at experian.com/smartmoney.
Christina Roman, we do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hopefully you've saved a lot of people a lot of money as we head into the remainder of this football season.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, so the call to action website is Experian.com/smart money. You'll be able to find that on our website, fox2detroit.com. Mario?